Senator Tom Cotton, Republican from Arkansas, is in focus now. Senator, thanks for being with us today. First of all, your top-line reaction to what President Biden is choosing to do now. Yes to Russia, no to America in terms of pipeline.
Yeah, Harris, this is a terrible mistake. It's a mistake that's opposed by both parties in Congress. It's just another example of the pathetic appeasement of Joe Biden for Vladimir Putin. So first, it's going to cost American jobs. We produce natural gas in this country in enough quantities that we can export it. We could be selling our gas to Germany and Western Europe. Now Vladimir Putin's going to sell it to Europe. Second, it'll hook Germany and other Western European countries even more deeply on Russian gas, which means we won't have as much leverage over Russia in tough times. And third, it badly undercuts our allies and partners in Eastern Europe like Poland and Ukraine, who Joe Biden is now apparently pressuring to stay silent. I mean, we've been around long enough that we remember whenever putting any kind of pressure or even asking Ukraine for something was grounds for impeachment, Harris. So this is a terrible mistake. Just another example of Joe Biden appeasing Vladimir Putin.
All right. Talk to me about how complicated this gets for, Joe Biden going forward, though, because when you hand President Putin, communist regime, a victory like this, around the world, what does this do?
Well, consider what might happen if the winter's cold this coming year, Harris, and Vladimir Putin threatens to turn off the gas going into Germany, threatens to turn off the gas that goes across Ukraine or Poland's
Do we get a war over that?
So that's the point, is that Vladimir Putin now has a lot more leverage against our European partners, and it gives him a freer hand in places like Ukraine or other Central Asian countries. So Vladimir Putin has a lot more leverage, and it sends the wrong signal to the rest of the world as well that Joe Biden is not tough enough to stand up for America's interest and to defend our allies.
Well, he says he is. He says that everybody understands where he's coming from. That's what he said and what we just showed everybody. All right, we'll move to this. The Biden administration, Senator Cotton, is also under fire over shocking new numbers at our southern border. COVID cases among migrants in the Rio Grande Valley sector have surged by 900%. When you watch this hour on Fox News, you've seen a huge number of them massing down by the Del Rio in Texas. There were 135 COVID-positive people in the first 2 weeks of this month alone who were trying to get into the U.S. Senator Ted Cruz with this.
The Biden administration is talking about wanting to end Title 42. Title 42 is the statute that has allowed adults to be illegal immigrants to be excluded during a pandemic. And given that we've been seeing consistently high rates of COVID infection from illegal immigrants, the Biden administration is contributing to the spread of this virus by releasing illegal immigrants against the law into our communities.
A group of House Republicans is warning Democrats have no plan and apparently no intention to stop the chaos down at the border. Now, Texas Land Commissioner George P. Bush is suing the Biden administration for ending the wall construction at the border. In an exclusive interview with FoxNews.com, Bush warned, "I can tell you this is the worst I've ever seen it, and the statistics bear that out. Farmers and ranchers are long accustomed to illegal activity, but it's reached a point where it's not sustainable, and we need help from the federal government." Senator Cotton, is that help going to come?
I'm afraid it's not. I mean, the plan to deal with the chaos is just to release more illegal migrants into the country, Harris. Every time they propose a new idea, it always involves processing illegal aliens into the country faster rather than stopping them from coming in the first place. And now the Biden administration is talking about stopping the exclusionary order during the pandemic at a time when cases are surging at our southern border, and most of these migrants are coming from countries with very low or non-existent vaccination rates. Congressional Democrats are talking about giving a massive amnesty in their reckless taxing and spending scheme that would tell even more illegal aliens around the country, rush to the border. If you get here in time, maybe you'll get amnesty as well. This is a reckless policy that is going to threaten the lives and the livelihoods of the American people.
So the White House is saying that they need shots in arms. Are they going to start there? Because we got millions of shots we could be putting in arms. I mean, these people are coming over. Many of them are not masked. We're handing them masks. We're not able to test everybody. I mean, where is the outrage over this in the middle of the Delta variant? I mean, we're being told so many things. Are they holding those people who are here, some of them illegally, to the same thing.
Yeah, Harris, on the one hand, the Biden administration is saying, well, maybe people should start wearing masks again. Maybe we're going to go door to door and ask why you haven't gotten your vaccination.
Well, go to the border then, too.
But they're letting in migrants from countries that have almost no vaccinations at all. Now, when you talk about our surplus vaccinations, should we just give those out willy-nilly to anyone who shows up at our southern border?
Is
no,
that what we do?
Not. Of course not. We should give them to allies, or places like Taiwan that is desperately in need of more vaccines. We should be very strategic and deliberate about how we hand out vaccinations. We shouldn't just be inviting more people to come to our country to get the vaccination. Otherwise, what do you think you're going to get at the border?
That's interesting.
More people coming.
Yeah, maybe it incentivizes even more. I hadn't even considered that. That will put that in the mix. No celebration from some Democrats on Capitol Hill over billionaire Jeff Bezos' space flight yesterday. They used the historic event to step up their calls to raise taxes on the rich. One lawmaker tweeted, "You don't have to be a rocket scientist to know it's time for billionaires to pay their fair share." Another tweets, "Billionaires will try anything to avoid paying their fair share in taxes. It's time for a wealth tax." This comes as lawmakers are battling over an infrastructure bill with a procedural vote expected today. President Biden pushing for tax hikes as well. Let's watch.
Step up a little bit. The idea that 50 largest corporations in America pay no tax, I think people should be able to be millionaires and billionaires if they have the ideas, but Lord's sake, the idea, let's start paying your fair share.
Wow, that went sideways in a hurry for Bezos, but maybe for the rest of people in America who dream big and make money.
Well, any time is a good time for the Democrats to raise taxes, whether the economy is recovering or whether the economy is weak. But one thing is clear, the American people are going to bear the brunt of Joe Biden's tax increases. You're already seeing the inflation that Joe Biden's reckless spending schemes have unleashed. If you filled up at the gas pump recently or gone to the grocery store and bought a gallon of milk. But just think what's going to happen once we impose even more taxes on businesses. They're going to charge higher prices to their customers to cover those taxes. They're going to reduce wages or cap wage growth for their workers to cover those taxes as well. So Joe Biden's reckless tax and spending scheme is going to hit Americans in their pocketbooks at a time when they cannot afford it.
Yeah, they better not even think about widespread lockdowns, and if they're going to try to tax the people who have the businesses, they won't be open. Look, you got to get to a vote. My team is telling me. I'm grateful for the time. Senator Tom Cotton, the great state of Arkansas. Thank you.
Thank you, Harris.